Hello, Mark Cukro.
Bailey Draper.
Thanks for watching our weekly live Q&A with Jiu-Jitsu. So there's a couple things before we get started I'd like for you to do. Number one, please like the post and then share this with your friends. We want to do this once a week, and we're going to continue to do this until all of our academies are open. And all we ask is that you like our page, like the post. So our Facebook page is Integrated Martial Arts Academy, and I'll have a link for it below the video. And then also, please go to our YouTube channel. We have a ton of instructional videos of us breaking down simple, effective, efficient movements. And you can just search my name, Mark Cukro, Jiu-Jitsu, or Integrated Martial Arts. So the first question is from last week. We missed a question that came in at the very end. And as soon as we hit end, we realized that we had a question. So this is for Michael Casey. So thank you very much for requesting this. If you're watching, we're glad to have you. If you're watching too, by the way, just send us a like and tell us where you're from, what academy you train in, what state you're from. Give us a thumbs up and a like, and of course we'll say hello and then ask some questions. So the question that Mike had was, how do you maintain a self-defense mindset as a higher belt and also in higher belts? And so thank you for asking that. So this is, of course, my opinion and my personal belief. So if you have a different one, awesome. If you don't, that's cool too. But I think the basis of jiu-jitsu should be self-defense minded. And what I mean by self-defense is self-defense doesn't mean anything other than really try not to get punched, kicked, kneed, elbowed, or have a weapon deployed on you and then have no idea what to do. So if you approach jiu-jitsu with it would be, I gotta say, I think it would be nice not to get punched in the face a lot. I think that's a reasonable expectation when you first start jiu-jitsu. So now what happens in the beginning very often is people do jiu-jitsu against someone that has no idea what they're doing, and they're very impressed with it. Then they do jiu-jitsu with a blue belt, and they get, if they're a white belt, they usually get handled, and they're like, okay, now I want to beat the blue belt, and then they lose the perspective of I want to beat 95, 99% of the population, whatever it is that doesn't do jiu-jitsu. So part of our curriculum, and I mean a very big part of it, is the self-defense jiu-jitsu. You should compete as much as you want. I highly recommend it. You should do anything that you want to do, kickbox, Muay Thai, whatever that is. But also understand that in jiu-jitsu, we have what we call punch your friend in the face day. And I got this idea from a friend of mine, Keith Owen, if you're out there, hello. But we've been doing this forever now. So every once in a while we put gloves on and we start to see how good your punch defense is. And it really changes everything. So to answer your question a little more specifically, Michael, during each belt, a blue belt is basically half the black belt test. Purple belt is more self-defense. A brown belt really is the entire self-defense curriculum. And you have to review it and stay sharp on it every time and demonstrate it every year. And because everything will progress a little, it'll evolve, we'll adapt in certain situations, but you should be able to have self-defense in your muscle memory just like that. And so that's our goal. The other part of the self-defense is you can pretty much always do all of the self-defense on the ground, except for the weapons. And honestly, you can do a lot of that too. But you can't always do the sportive aspect standing up with weapons. And so I respect both of them, but we have to understand the circumstances under which each one is very important. So I hope that answers your question, but we do it 100%. You have to know, if you've ever had that master text with Grandmaster Elio Gracie on the front, that book is common knowledge for everyone that trains at my academy and everyone in the association. So I hope that helps a little, but that's it. So the next one is a question. Do we have a comment?
Kevin Payne's watching. Bill Fisher.
Hey, Kevin.
Say hello, Wade Shotty.
Bill, Wade, good to see you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Sarah Coulthard from Olson's in Johnson City.
Oh, nice. Hello. All right.
Mike Dannenberg, Dennis Wiseman.
Good. We have people from all over. Dennis, your question's coming up soon, I promise.
Yep, excellent. They all joined. Everyone says hey.
Okay, good. Do me a favor while you guys are watching this, share this post, and just with your friends or anyone that's into jiu-jitsu, well, I don't know about as much as you are, even a little bit, share it with them. If they're into it as much as you are, definitely share it. But Scott, this question is an answer to your question, okay? So Thank you for the thumbs up and the share. This is details on pressure passing. So let's go over a couple of things of like what pressure passing means, because there's a lot of different interpretations, so I'm just gonna share mine. And if you have a different one, awesome. If your teacher has a different one, that's wonderful. Don't worry about splitting hairs so much, learn what you can from everybody, and then apply it to your own game. But pressure passing itself, okay, so come here please, is put me in the closed guard. Okay, so let's just start with a couple of ideas, and then I'm gonna stand up and start all over again. Okay, if I'm here and I have good posture, and I move, and I smash, this is what most people think of. Now watch, you'll hear the sound. Yeah, exactly, and you pass. And some people, it's so much pressure, some people call it the soul crusher, right? And so the stack pass can be devastating. You can do it from standing, and then come down and do it. You can start kneeling and do it, but really, what pressure passing is, more than anything, hold my weight, is me not taking my weight off of you to pass, okay? Now, you have to have some pressure on the person at all times. So you can play a drill just like this, yep, and just move, and I can't take any weight off and stop me from passing, please, yep, and that's a pass, and that's pressure, right? Pressure can also be, go ahead please, yep, and you just move, and you're not trying to be explosive, you're just trying to keep weight on the whole time. Control the femur, and bring this in, back, over, come back, here, hold, bring the person in, watch this leg in the back, roll, and it's a lot of pressure, okay? Pressure passing can have explosiveness, but it's not reliant on explosiveness. So you have a couple of ways to do this. You have the imposition of a pass, where I'm going to pass your guard. I'm gonna smash you, put pressure on you, and make you say to yourself, man, please pass already so I have a chance to recover. The second one will be more like getting the person's movement and getting their default movement to be their disadvantage. And then the third one is really just gonna be explosiveness based on timing. And there's a lot of variations between all of that, but the pressure passing itself is where I don't disconnect, okay? So if I'm here, yeah, if I'm like this, now look, this is an important detail. Can you lift me up, please? Just pull my collar, lift me up. It's very easy, yeah. Now do the same thing. Grab. All I'm gonna do, Scott, look, is just look up. Now pull, push, pull, yeah. Right, pull, lift me up. Yeah. Now do the same thing. Good, good. Now you can pass, okay? So the idea is not to disengage so much. And it doesn't matter how, but pressure passing is typically a game of passing inch by inch by inch, suffocating movement along the way. So that's really what it's for. I would like to show you a detail with the stack pass, and then when you stand up, another way to do that, okay? So when we're here and we get this, a lot of people, and I mean a lot, almost everybody, me included when I started, I said, well, if I put my arm in here, I'm gonna get triangle choke. Go ahead. Yeah, okay. Well, if you have thought that, good for you. If you have been choked doing this, you have to pay attention to this little detail that makes a huge difference. So when you open up the guard, put me in close guard, please. Yep. Here, open, turn, drop. This arm has to go across the femur. Now you can't get choked. Choke me, please. Choke, 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 choke. That's it. Okay, now come here. You see how her leg is heavy? Yeah. Well, then just cut pass. Right? Okay? If it's like this and you can lift your arm back like this, then you can pass, okay? But the idea is, if this is really heavy, well then why are you trying to pass? Push this one down and go. And look, this leg is up. Put your knee in. Okay, so watch. Turn this way, please. Watch my left knee. Turn this way, please. Yeah, okay. So this is too heavy, and I can't pass, so what I'm gonna do now, yeah, roll it, can't move, can't lift her leg. So I'm gonna move the head up, put this right in here, move please, and then you pass. So I hope that gives you a little idea, but just think about it this way. Whenever one side is really difficult to pass to the other side or disengage. So there's really, I don't really like when people say, man, this is how you have to pass. Well, how about you pass the way that works for you at the right time? If you look at anything that people do, they play an instrument, they fire a rifle, they all kind of have their unique style. As long as you're hitting the target, it's all good. Now, there's a difference between preference and incorrect technique. So I get this question a lot, like, well, where should my foot go? Should it go over here or over there? Yeah, and you'll hear a lot of senior belts go, yeah, which one should I do? Yes. And then you're like, well, pick one. And like, either one's okay. And it's because either one is okay. Now, if your foot is in the wrong place and it changes your base, then we have to worry on correct technique. So when it comes to pressure passing, you have to make sure that all of your weight is being controlled by you, but shared with them, if that makes sense. So right now, can you grab my collar, please? Bring your knees in. Look, she's controlling all of my weight, although it's shared with her. So I have to share this connection. So now pull. Yeah, all I do is just drop my hips. Now it's very difficult to pass. And then you can do whatever you want to pass. But the idea is you will typically replace one limb, not always, but pretty much. You'll typically replace one limb with another before you move on. So, Scott, I hope that helps a little bit, but those are some details on pressure passing. And the next one we have is from Dennis.
I have some questions over here.
What's that? We have some questions over here? Okay.
Michael Brown asks, is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu taught differently in Brazil versus the United States?
Okay, so Michael Brown, my friend, thank you for asking. So let me clarify. Is Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu taught differently in Brazil than it is the United States? And my answer is no. So I've been to Brazil a few times. I stayed at Master Pedro Sauer's house in Posada. We met some amazing people from all over. Gracie Petropoulos, Breno Angelo, and the whole crew, Gracie Humaita there. We went to a lot of academies. So we would train basically twice a day for 2 or 3 hours with Master Pedro and all the other black belts and lower belts, and then all of the local friends from Brazil, Petropoulos, Rio, and they would all come in and we would all train. And the only real main difference is the abundance of black belts in an academy. So in the United States, you might have 1 or 2, maybe sometimes 5 or 6. But a lot of the academies in Brazil, there's 30 black belts. And that's just how many there are, and only a couple teach. And everyone will share knowledge, but the level of skill is not any different. Not really. I think it's the same now. And I think that could be said for many places all over the world. But it is much more, I would say, ingrained in a lot of the lifestyles of people there. And so it's not uncommon to see someone there every single day, whatever time they have. But it's also not uncommon to see people that are hobbyists, just like many people watching and training. But I have to tell you, Brazil's a good experience, man. There's some wonderful people in Brazil. We were so welcome. Oh my goodness. We ate really good too, and we had great training, and it was very common to roll 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 black belts in a day if you wanted to. So I hope that helps, but it's the same pretty much now everywhere. There was a difference in the resources a long time ago, but it's pretty much the same.
We have another question coming from Anisha.
Anisha Hiremath?
Yeah.
Hello, Anisha. Okay.
How to escape mount when your wrists are pinned.
Okay, so Anisha, let's do that. And so I suspect your big brother's doing this, but we'll work on that. But a lot of it is you have to use your body too and not just your hands, okay? So you're gonna get me in the mount, then I'll get you in the mount, okay? Now here's the deal, Anisha and everybody else watching. You have to understand who you're trying to get out of from underneath. So are you trying to get out from someone that's skilled at Jiu-Jitsu? That's a completely different experience than trying to get someone off of you that has no training at all and they're just holding you down like this. So the essence of the move, the principles and concepts are the same, but there are some details, okay? So let's look at a couple things. So, can you get me in the mount, please? Okay. Now, for those of you watching, let me tell you, this is probably one of the most common things I get for people, that get bullied or picked on, is this. Okay, so now, what do I have to do? I have to do the same trap and bridge that we've been doing forever. The challenge is if I move, she can let go of her hands and catch. Okay, so let's look at a couple of things. Number one, push really, put all your weight on my hands. Look, I can still move you. This is actually really easy to do. And you have to practice this. If you ever say, I tried that and it doesn't work, we gotta try more, okay? So, and then we have to find little angles. If I step on her foot and I bridge, pull your foot out. Yeah, okay, go back. So this has to go down, and you can even pull this foot in. Now what you're gonna do is lift and pull your hands in, and now one goes down, and now look, over you go. Okay, so there's a lot of ways to do this. Grab, please. So here's the deal too. If you sit up really high, now watch, move. I got you guys. It's very difficult to move. Now this hand has to go down. So how do you do that? One over, and now look, grab, come up, and then block. So, Anisha, when you come to the academy, we'll go over this, you and me together, but the whole bridge and roll, trap and bridge is the same. There are little differences, and opening your leg over their foot like this prevents them from pulling their foot out. The other thing is if you have one, give them a nudge, and then when they fall forward, push one arm down, and that's the way you go, and then bridge. So, there's a lot of other ways. That's just a couple of things to think of. But most importantly, Anisha, I'm glad that you asked the question, so thank you. Do we have any more or down the list?
Yeah, Dennis.
Okay, Dennis. All right, this is for Dennis Wiseman. We did a throw the other day called Sotomakakomi. And the throw is very simple. You can do it standing, you can do it in the turtle position, on the ground. And there's a couple of things. So we'll teach just a couple of entries, okay? So, up, okay? So let me just say this. We're doing this for demonstrative purposes. Bailey is gonna give me good energy so we can teach on the camera. We're not sparring this, not yet, right? Okay. So we're here, tie up please. She's gonna duck under and go to take my back. So walk all the way around. This is bad, bad, bad for me, okay? So tie up again, please. So as soon as she goes under, I drop here, and then I move. Now this arm has to come up. Turn into me, please. Now I have time to move and then recover, okay? So let's break this down standing. Okay, so put your feet wide. Okay, watch. I'm gonna go like this. Here, through, turn. This is very common for a lot of throws, this entry. So you can start here. 1, 2. Now I have to go as close to her feet as possible while I'm above the elbow. If my hand is like this, pull your arm out. No good at all. Look how far my elbow is. If I'm here, pull my elbow out. Yeah, so now you just drop. Now if I'm like this, she can jump on and take my back. It's no good. So I have to curl in, elbows inside my knees. Move, now watch. I have to hold this hand and keep your hands up so you don't get kneed in the face. But look at this. You can hear her. Lots of pressure. This hand's gonna come out, I know it is. Move. And now you have all sorts of things. Turn this way a little bit, please. Yeah, you can go here, whatever you want. Take it back. Yeah. And then you can just, take it from there. But the idea is, I'll get in turtle position. Can you come here, please? We do this a lot. And let me say, there's a saying in Jiu-Jitsu, man, it's true. If it feels too good to be true against a higher belt,
probably is.
It probably is. It's a good trap. Okay, so we're here on this side, and I'm defending my neck. She's going for my collar, and then I open. That's what I want. Now, if I can't move and roll, I'm gonna drop this leg and go underneath. Drive off my toes. Hold this, and you'll have a lot of pressure here. Hand up. Now switch your base. Hand goes right here to block the hips. And there you go. So, a lot of the throws have a very similar entry. And not all, of course, a lot. If you do judo, you understand. And if you don't, you should learn some judo, for sure. Catch wrestling, shudo, sambo, some kind of art with throws in it. But you have to get the person to commit their energy, which is called kazushi. And then you take their energy and use it against them. So if Bailey, come here please on the side, Bailey. If so, we're perpendicular right now to each other. Turn a little more sideways. Yeah, like this. This is gonna be hard for me to do. I have to go under her. So here, look, now, roll, and you can drive off of your feet, look. Here, move. Now you can't get kneed in the face. And then turn. Now these toes need to be up. Can you move, please? Yeah. If they're like this, go ahead. I have nothing to push off of, and then she departs from me, disengages, and then I want to get put in the guard, or someone's able to recover. So you have to really know when to keep your toes up, and when to keep your toes down. But that is Sotomaka Komi. It's a winding throw. I like it a lot. You can do it in gi and no gi. But like any throw, you better hustle. When you execute that throw, you better fit in and move. And what you can't do is fit in quick and then execute slow. So it has to all be one movement at the right angle. So I hope that helps, Dennis. What else do we have?
A bunch of questions here. Mike Dannenberg asks when you would use the over-under pass and if you could demonstrate.
Okay, so like pretty much anything else, most people, me included, we know a lot of passes, but we kind of have the handful that's our bread and butter, right? So there's millions of tools out there in the workforce, but most people have the same 30 to 50 in their toolbox. And out of the 30 and 50, most people probably use a handful, right, for most things. Then you have the specialty tools. So an over-under pass is going to be kind of dependent on the energy that they give. So if they're staying connected really well, or their legs are heavy, it's a really good pass to do. Okay, so come here, please. So if I'm here like this, first off, this really isn't very good for me. It kind of needs to be here, or I need to control it. Yeah, this is very different now. I'm going to control your femur, and I like to do this. So now that one's going to come up. Yeah, and now I'm gonna go here. So now she's gonna go after my arm. So cool, my knee has to go, okay? So there's a lot of ways to do this. You can do it like this, and then push, and there's a million variations. But the idea is, if I have one underhook and one overhook, pull my arm off. It's very easy to do. It's very dangerous unless you really understand that as soon as this comes off, something else needs to be in its place. Or you need to be so far out that you're laying on the leg. Now go ahead. Yeah, you're just gonna pass, right? And now you come under the leg, trap it, and then you can move. So all of these throws, so come here for a second. Nice and slow and smooth, okay? We're gonna go through a series of changes in guard pass attempts. Okay, so here, I get this here, I'm out, I break, I'm here. This leg is heavy, 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 heavy. I can't. So then I'm gonna push this one down and look, here, over. Now she can roll me this way though. So I have to keep weight on my toes. Go ahead, please. And now I move, so all the weight is on her, okay? So now if I go here and she gets one leg, go ahead. Just like this, half guard, crushed ankles. So what do? I can walk this way and take her back, or I can sit back and then pass. Okay, come back, please. So, this one didn't work. Open. She got a leg heavy. I go to this side. If I can get it out here, that's fine too. None of those, I don't feel like I'm doing very well. She's got a good game, he's got a good game. Now, I can start to pass this way. If I'm here like this, that's fine too. You just have to make sure that this leg on the bottom is blocked. Bring your knees in, please. Yeah. So just lay on the leg. Now, recover guard. You're gonna move, and then you hook. So you have to learn how to really isolate. I hope that helps, Mike. The thing is, it's like all jiu-jitsu is an if and then process. Now, like any flow chart, right? Well, if they do this, I do that. Sometimes when you're really good, you can go, if they do that, I'm gonna skip 3. And you can do that as long as you really understand the passing. But the over-under rip pass, you can use a lot, but you typically have to shut down the bottom leg. So you can shut it down with your hand, your leg, or your body, and that's all you have. But all the pressure should be on them. When you hear the person going like this and trying really hard, you are doing something right. And the idea is to put all of the pressure and responsibility on them and all of the leverage from you. But the less your feet are on the mat, the less pressure you have. So I hope that helps.
Josh Fletcher asks, if you have bad knees, how can you stay healthy and enjoy training?
Okay, so Josh, my friend, thank you for asking. So this is for anyone. Have you ever had an injury in Jiu-Jitsu? Me too, everybody does. So sometimes you'll hear people go, oh, man, yeah, you can get injured playing baseball, playing basketball, playing softball, playing soccer, playing tennis. I've seen people get hurt playing badminton at barbecues. I've seen grown adults fall off a slide at the park with their kids and get injured. It's just part of life. So the other thing is like, okay, did you quit any of those other things? Probably not, right? So why would you quit Jiu-Jitsu just because you have an injury? So you have to learn not to get frustrated with yourself and go, I used to be able to do it like this. Well, that no longer applies. You have to learn what to do. And I have a friend of mine, his name is Johnny. He lives in Utah, and he injured his knee, and he wrapped straps and like a small carpet around his legs. He called it the burrito guard. And he trained like that until he was better and recovered. The other thing is, you have to kind of figure out what you're trying to do. If you're trying to make up for lack of technique with athleticism, you're probably going to make it worse. If you learn to go slow and move and surgical, like a scalpel, you're going to be precise. And the last thing you want is someone with a scalpel going like this. You have to really learn, come here, to be precise. Okay, so we're going to go slow. And I recommend this, especially if you have an injury. Number one, find a training partner that you trust. And if you don't have one, I don't even know what to say, but you got to get one. So you're going to go no faster than this. Move, just stop me from passing. My knee is really sore. Please don't go for a knee bar or heel hook. You know what I'm talking about if that's you, okay? So look here, move, yeah, go ahead, do whatever you want, yeah. Okay, good, yeah. Okay, watch my knee, let me get my knee out. Okay, there we go, ahead, good. Pass, yes, all the way down. Move. Here, that's it, look, nice and smooth. Move. Yeah, you don't have to go crazy. That's the thing, is you have to resist. And I'm being real here too, look. You can't say I'm gonna go light and they go 90%. If someone says go light and you're exhausted by the end of it, you aren't going light. So I definitely would do that, but also limit what you can do. The other thing is, say your right knee is injured, okay? I can only post it this, I'm getting cross-eyed. My goal now went from scrambling to surviving. So turn this way a little bit. So, okay, so do me a favor. This knee's hurt, by the way, just for this video, okay? So can you please go ahead and go in the mount? Right? So the idea is, I know that if you get the opportunity, and you have to have teammates like this, if you had the opportunity to grab my knee and sweep me, but you knew I had a bad knee, you wouldn't do it. You'd be like, probably would've got you, keep going. So the other thing is, and this is for everybody, man, you, me, everybody else, injuries are part of life. You have to learn how to be patient with yourself, how to give yourself a break, how to not get frustrated, and stop looking back at the way you used to train. I don't train the same way I did when I was in my early 20s. I'd be crazy to think I can. But what I can do now is be a much better technician, really master the details and the leverage and the frames, and then move with better timing. And then you can train forever. So the thing is, you can train forever at Jiu-Jitsu. It's how do you want to train forever? And then how do you want to train while you're training forever? So I think those are good questions to ask yourself. I hope that helps, Josh, but I know you will not quit Jiu-Jitsu, but you want to work around the knee that you have an injury in. So thank you for asking. Do you have any more, or we have a list?
Oh yeah, we have a bunch here.
Okay.
If you did a back escape to the back take, Kevin Payne.
Oh, okay, all right, I'm gonna, yep, okay, so come here. So watch, okay, this comes from a friend. two friends of ours, Johnny Carlquist and James Gardner. They showed me this many years ago, well not many, a few years ago, and then we've just kind of taken it from there. So the idea is, she has my back, he or she, in this particular case Bailey, and I start to escape, and I break this grip, and I'm gonna go here, just like this. Now I'm gonna move, bring this here, look, and then take the back. Here, just like that. Okay, so now, let's try this again. This way. All right, good deal. Okay, so we're gonna go slow. So, of course, rule number one, squat down, sink, put pressure on the legs. Here, I have this grip broken. I hook this leg, I move here. So the foot that's by her head is under the knee. The one that's towards her feet is underneath the thigh. So what I'm gonna do is push weight here, pass. Now I push with my knee and I lead with the point and I turn. Now I have this, I have a back take, 1, 2, move, and then take, and then take the back. Okay, one more time. Okay, one more time, come over here, Belly. Let's try to make sure we stay in frame. Okay, we good? All right, same thing, down, here, pressure, I move, here, I come up, I move, I push weight to the opposite side, this knee comes in and look, here, just like this. Now I can pull, stretch, bridge, and then get the back mount. So, let me tell you, there's a lot there, knee bars, all sorts of submissions, but I hope that helps, Kevin. Thank you for asking. That's the position I know that you're talking about.
Tyrion Scott asked if you could show a takedown against the wall when you're on the outside.
Yeah, sure. Tyrion, thank you very much. Okay, so there's a bunch of these. So I'm on the outside. Okay, so let's just start with this thing here for a second, please. I want to explain what we do in kids class. You're not a child, I know that, but here's the deal. Here's the deal. Hands against the wall. Just like this. As silly as it seems, if you can do that, you can do this move. This is the same move, go ahead, that causes you, to take somebody's back. So watch, push, 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 here, frame. Now I have both legs, but I have to keep pressure. Just like this. I come underneath and I push the whole time. You grab collar, hair, collarbone, hook this leg, pull, down you go. Now, if they're on both hands, you can jump on the back. You can go here, take whatever you want to do. Okay, how about? Now, if we're here, like this, and this isn't working, I take this hand and I go right here, and I just sit down, just like that. How about? So what I'm doing, Tyrion, is this here. Look, same here from a headlock defense. Hold tight, wide base. Look, hold, hold, or hold. Down, turn, and then you can hold on tight. Block the hips, and you'll hear the person get pressure applied to them. So those are two. Now, if I pick up a single leg, I'll show you one more, okay? So we're here, and I do this, and I grab, and everybody knows this, just like wrestling from run the pipe. But what I'm gonna do is turn and hop down. And when you fall, it's really hard, when you fall, it's really hard for them to hold you as you shift weight on their heels, which is what that move does. So those are three, Tyrion, I hope that helps a little bit, but what you're doing is this, right down to the floor. And I recommend that you keep your head on the person so that their knees and elbows can't come up and hit you. So just kind of lay on them, put your head on them, and then stay connected as you go to the ground. So I hope, let me know if that's what you meant, or if you were looking for something totally different. But I have to say, Tyrion, I really appreciate, you've been here every week, and man, we appreciate you tuning in and watching for sure. Do we have another question, or?
We have a couple questions, but we're gonna take one from the list, so we get everyone from last week.
Okay.
Someone, Adam McConnell asked about a back take from guard.
Okay, Adam, so hello from Greensboro. All right, so here's the deal. We'll go over a couple things. I don't know if you meant gi or no gi, but we're wearing gis, so we're gonna do a back take from the gi, okay? What I really wanna show, because most people know how to get on the back, but how to get the arm across, and then what grips you use, and how do you counter their pressure to get to the back. I think that will go a long way. So we'll give you a couple of angles on this, okay? So, here, grab. What a lot of people do is they drop their elbows. Yeah, this is good. Put pressure on, good. Yeah. So, this is smart of her because it's hard for me to pull her hands across. You know, whatever you want. You can grab the sleeves, we'll just do that for now, okay? But I want you to push really hard. I don't want to get my hand in there. Yeah, good. So you'll see this a lot, and you'll have people that want to pull, but I'm pulling her hand into the lapel. So look, keep going, put the pressure down, go on. Now I have it. So what I have to do is push, hold on, push this way, and now watch. I turn my hand so my core gets engaged. And now I move. And look, I'm off the floor. It's not just this, and then I sit up. It's this, and I move, look. Now, you can take the back, you can move under, you can do whatever you want from here. Come back, please. Here, move, turn them over. There's just a lot of things that you can do. So let's go over the sleeve grip again, Adam, okay? So what I'm doing is little bumps, okay? And every time she gets bumped, my hand goes under a little bit more. Hold on, please. Yeah, tight good. Practice like this. Don't let up either. Here. Now, hold on. If I pull this way, no good. This way. Now, let's fight for this. I don't want this. So I pull up, move. Now you have all of these opportunities for sweeps, taking the back, whatever you want to do. Personally, I don't like to climb people's backs if they're much bigger than me. So I'll put my foot right here, pull, and now they just fall because they have this arm. They kind of just fall in the pocket. I open my feet and then I take the back. So I hope that helps, Adam, but that's definitely something I personally do from the guard, to take people's backs when I can.
Jose asked if you could show some submissions from top crossbody.
Okay, so sure. I wonder if he means
Let's do Kesa.
through Kesa?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right. So can you put your head here and your feet here? All right. Actually, I have one I'm going to show you, Jose, that goes from Kesa to an Americana when they straighten that arm out, and I attempt to go for a Kimura. They defend it, and then I'm going to turn it into a Jujitsu, which is an armbar, okay? So let's start with a couple. I'll just go through a few here. So there's a million that you can do here. Here's one. It's on the shoulder. It's awful. Hold. Put your hand here. There's just all sorts of things that you can do. 1, 2, 3, push in, hip, turn, pull your arm out, please. There you go. Bend your arm a little bit. There you go. So a little, walk your legs out, relieve some pressure. Good. So now you can pull all of these. You have all of this. This hand can go. Now you have this. And look, get underneath, hold, push. And now you have all sorts of submissions. If the person resists, here, yeah. Push. Push. They turn into you. Here, they pull their hand back. Here's one. And then you turn. Now, let's turn this way, okay? So what happens is we're going through all of this. Yeah, exactly. And I want to go for a Kimura. So I bend the arm this way. I get my hand under, and she goes, no way. She starts to straighten her arm out, and I want Udakatami, or straight arm bar. Except I feel like I'm not getting it. He or she is using their feet really strong. Bailey's got good, yeah. I can feel the weight shift. So now, what I'm gonna do is slide across, put my head here, and go 1, 2. I have 1. I put my foot off. Here, now I have more space. 2. What you can also do, if I have this arm, I'll spin this way. So what I'm gonna do is grab with my right arm. I'm gonna walk backwards. Look, here. There's an arm bar. Okay. So now I'm going to show you that again. So come here, please. Head here, feet here. Head here, feet here. Okay. Rotate a little more this way. Okay, scoot towards me. All right, so let's do this one again. I like this, and man, it surprises people. Okay, so I'm here going for the Kimura, whatever you want to call it, okay? So I start to go, she straightens her arm out, I put my head right here on my wrist. I slide these up, and I make sure I keep contact. Now, her hand is on the head side of her body. So I can pull, I can push back, and watch, here, over, or if I'm on this side, just like this, yeah, so look, I can go 1, 2, this, I'm gonna push back and stay here. And look, this foot's nice and tight. And then you have an arm bar. So, Jose, I hope that gives you something to think about. That's a fun, and man, most people don't expect that. That's a pretty sneaky submission in my opinion. So definitely give that a try. Most people expect you to sit up and pull in, but when you spin under, they're usually a little surprised.
A good one from last week, Kevin Mitrovsky asked that you could show a sweep from half guard.
Okay, so Kevin, okay. Tony Moravsky. Hello, Tony. Okay, he's in Hickory, I think. Good. Okay, glad you're here. So let's work on a couple of sweeps from the bottom. And there's a couple of ways to look at this. There are simple sweeps that are really easier to get, or we can do some flashy ones, right? I personally prefer the ones that require simpler movement, but sometimes you have to move around a lot, okay? So let's start with just a couple of these, and we'll give you different angles, okay? So I'm here. Yeah, go ahead, have a seat. Okay, I cannot be on my back. If I'm flat on my back, I deserve this. Okay, the other thing is okay, and there's a lot of things to do here. I want to take these two hands, and I want to move them as I move this foot this way. Now, you have all sorts of things to move. Yeah, put this down, don't let me do it. I just move, and I get this in. I don't want this arm to go back. So I move, yes, exactly. And now, you can recover the guard. Okay, so that's one. So come here, please. So what we're doing is this hand is going underneath. I'm going to use my both arms. 1, 2, this way. As I drive off the floor to lift this. Yeah, here, just like this. Up, here we go. Now, what do? I can move, watch this heel. I pull this heel, and now I move, watch my feet over, and there we go. So that one's a little more complex. When it's difficult to get your foot under their knee, or sometimes people are taller, or they're just in the wrong position, you can use that heel on the bottom. Okay, so turn this way down here, please. So watch from this side. Okay, so here I move, and I'm struggling to get this foot underneath. So you can move this leg, pull, and look. Now drive here, and then up. So I hope that helps, Tony. Those are some good sweeps. Of course, we can show the fancy sweeps, like the Shaolin sweeps and things like that, but I think the bread and butter ones are better for most people until you develop like this really big arsenal. And in my opinion, when you start working towards purple belt, you need to be a sweep machine. You need to know how to sweep people from every single position you can be in. Have all your friends put you in bad positions. All you're allowed to do is sweep them. They have to move though. They can't just lay there and park the car on you and hold you down for 20 minutes and say it's a good roll. They have to move, and all you're allowed to do is sweep. And then when you can do that, you isolate it, man, you're gonna be really good at sweeps. So I would definitely start with that. It just depends, but those are two really good ones. And of course, we can do sweeps for days, right? But thank you for asking, I appreciate it.
Sarah Coulthard asks the approach to training the haymaker punch defense.
Okay. So, and that's the one where you go?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Bailey.
Yeah.
Everyone, I'm sorry. Okay, so there's a couple things that you can do. So if you know what it is, I'm gonna lift you, I won't throw you, okay? So I'm gonna ask you to do a few specific things for your safety and for my training. So if you do this, and by the way, you should really understand what to look for when someone's about to punch you in the face. Most of the people will turn their body, they'll step back with one foot, they'll look around, or they'll get quiet, and then they'll either put one foot in front or one foot in back, and usually the rear hand is the one that's coming. The other thing is, and this is really important, if you're standing there and you're having an altercation or a disagreement with someone, and you're around people, never let them get past the size of this. As soon as somebody gets past here, the opportunity for you to get blindsided or jumped on or hit from the back is very high. So try to make sure that you get people in front of each other, or you kind of maintain this cone, right? You can imagine just putting a flashlight out. That's the cone that you don't let people get outside of, okay? So let's start this. Left foot forward. Okay, yeah, as you swing, you're gonna go ahead, here, turn, step forward, just like this, up, back down, okay? So watch, she's gonna step, I'm gonna step. This is just for training to teach it. Go, hands up, here, up, down. What you're not doing is pushing the person this way. What you are doing was turn this way. So step back, you step forward, I step forward. Go step forward, punch. Here, look, over your hips. This should be super easy to do. If you're like struggling and it's really hard, the person's not over your hip. So I hope that helps, Sarah. It's hard to do in frame when we're doing live Q&A, but I think you get the idea. And that is just like a hip throw. Stand up for a second. Really far back. Over here, second. You want the person here. Look, it's so easy, right? Look what this is. Step forward, please. Step forward with your right leg. Here, it's the same. It's the same exact movement. So if you can keep the hip throws, all hip throws rely on the fact that you can put the person's hip over your own. So the point in your hip should be in front of the point in their hip. Not on the outside, could be a little bit, not too much. Inside, a little bit, not too much. But when they're right in front, it's easy to lift the person. And that's just something that you practice with timing, but that's a drill that we do, so thank you for asking. What else do we have?
Jan asks if you could show how to expose the chin when you're going for a cross choke.
Jagan asked that. Well, he's a little nightmare on the mat. Okay, so I wonder if you meant from the guard or the mount.
He didn't clarify.
Okay.
From the top though.
So, all right, well, there's a couple, okay? So, I apologize in advance for these. Get my guard. Oh, from the top, he said? Did he say from the top?
He didn't clarify, so guard's fine.
All right, we're gonna do, all right, so Jagan, if you're watching, let me know if this is what you meant, and if not, let me know and we'll do something. So I have this choke here. Let's turn this way a little bit, okay? So I have the choke on Bailey. She puts her chin down, okay? No worries. You can use your legs, of course. What you can do too is put your head here, push, and now lift your hips. And you just kind of push their head up, okay? Another one, I'm sorry, it's very uncomfortable. Put your chin down, yeah. Is move one up and watch, down. So you can go up, turn, lift your hips. And man, I'm sorry, it's very uncomfortable. But I know you're tough and you can handle it, but I just hate to put my head in someone's face unless I have to.
Jane wants to see it from the back mount.
From the back mount? Oh, this guy, okay. All right, come here. All right. Okay, so let's just start here. Chin down, please. So, pull your knee down, please. All right, so, Jane, I want you to do this with me. Grab your wrist and move it, and tell me if the bone feels oval or perfectly round. The answer is oval, right? Okay, if it's perfectly round, I don't know what to say. So she puts her chin down, and what I'm gonna do is go here and turn the key. Little by little, little scoop, little scoop, little scoop. Now watch, right now it's on her trachea, so I move, and now, okay? When you choke someone, it shouldn't hurt their trachea at all. They shouldn't cough, they shouldn't feel like their throat is sore for 3 days. Look, take a big breath, please. I want you to hear her taking her breath. Tell me when the choke starts to work. That's it, okay? Because you have to learn how to just, by muscle memory, intuitively, reflexively, put your hand in the right place. And that's here, not here. Yeah, this works, but you're better off choking them with blood, right? So nobody can deny a blood choke. I don't care who you are. If you don't get blood to your brain, you're gonna feel the effects of a good rear naked choke. So I hope that helps, Jan. Thank you for asking. I'm glad you and your sister are tuning in. Tell everyone at home we said hello. What else do we have?
Mike Dannenberg asked if you could show your favorite Darce setup.
My favorite Darce setup. Let's see. Boy, there's a bunch of them. Okay, so let me think about this for a second, Mike. Okay, yeah, so this is one. Okay, so there's a bunch. I'm gonna show you one that I do and one that a friend of mine, Dave, does a lot. So can you just face me like this, please? So this is very simple, okay, and a lot of people know this, but what I want you to do is so get down in the turtle. Okay, what I wanna do is bug her neck and start doing this. So her hands come up to defend it, okay? So I'm gonna be like this, and I'm not letting go of my hands, but what I am gonna do, look, is walk this way, and now this hand shoots in as I cup the chin like this, here. And now over, and then walk. And that's it. Okay, so come here, please. So let's look at this from here. So what I have, just sit up for a sec. My hands are like this, pull your elbows tight. So what I'm gonna do is walk my body this way, hold, then go underneath, here, and I don't have to roll. I can stay here and come in, but make sure you grab the bottom leg, not the top. And that's it, okay. All right, so let me fix my uniform. About 5 times a day, a train passes across the street. Much respect to the train, okay. It's a cargo train, so it's moving slow. Of course, right? But, okay. In the meantime, before we start talking about technique, do us a favor, like this, share it, say hello, send it to your friends in your group, go to our Facebook Academy page, Integrated Martial Arts, and hit like. And let me tell you, the last time we did this, I'm so happy, thank you so much. In one day, we had 247 likes on our page. So within a 24-hour period, so thank you for doing that. Go to our YouTube channel, just put my name in, or Integrated Martial Arts on YouTube, it'll pull up. We have a ton of videos specifically made for while we're going through all of this, and we're at home a little bit more until Academy's open back up as usual. So share it, like it, tell a friend, go to YouTube, like us on Facebook. What, do you have another question?
Or we have time for one more.
We have time for one more, and so...
Counter to a step over Kimura.
A counter to a step over Kimura. Okay, so I guess from the bottom is what they mean, right?
Yeah, so you're on the bottom and trying to...
Okay, so there's a couple of things here. All right, so I want you to look at my feet first, and then we'll get into everything else. But let me explain what you don't want to happen first, because a lot of people get stuck here and they freak out and they put a lot of weight like this, or they try to put weight on one hand, and there's a couple things to do, okay? So I'm willing to show this like once or twice, but you can play it back and forth. When she has me in this position, okay, first off, her hand got under, okay, so take this arm out. So how do I prevent this from happening? I take this foot, go ahead, and I push this hand, go ahead, push hand under. And go ahead, push, come on, use some weight. Yes, as they're doing that, yeah. So now, what is he or she gonna do, right? They're gonna change their weight. So now watch, I'm gonna go here and push, just like that. Okay, as soon as you feel a little shift in weight, push over to the corner, not the side. Do not push them perpendicular towards your feet. You have to push them off towards like a 45-degree angle. Okay, so come here. By the way, if it's totally on, you're not getting out like anything else, okay? So what happens is people go, yeah, well, I would do this and I would do that, and that's fine. You should do that, and then we come up with a million different little adjustments and counters, okay? So hit these, pressure. Yeah, this is hooked in, nice. This knee, look, moves, yes. And now it's very uncomfortable for her, for him, whoever does it to you. But here's the deal. If it's totally on, you're not getting out, man. If the choke is totally on, you're not getting out. Now, I talked about this twice in the past couple of weeks. You have 3 phases of Jiu-Jitsu, of getting out of submissions. Before, which is prevention, hands down the most effective. 2, which is counters while it's in process, which is what this was. And then 3, when it's totally on, but not quite 100, how do you get out? And so you have before, during, and after. But here's the deal. If you're a marksman and the bullet leaves the barrel, you're probably gonna hit the bullseye. You're probably gonna get the submission. You could maybe get out, but the chances are a lot lower than if you go to the first 2 phases. So that's something to consider, but you have to learn how to shift your weight to your shoulders, to your elbows, off to this angle, push up here, then turn that way. And you'll hear the term a lot, invisible Jiu-Jitsu. And what that really means is Jiu-Jitsu that you have to feel to understand the difference. It's not actually invisible, it's just hard to see, and a lot of times until it's pointed out or you actually feel it. Because when you learn, there's 3 ways to learn: visually, auditorily, and kinesthetically. That's the one you have to feel. That's why a lot of times Jiu-Jitsu people, you ask them what they did, they're like, I don't know, because it's so ingrained in your muscle memory that when you ask them, they're like, okay, let me feel what you're doing, and then they come up with a counter. And then you do it again, and you slightly change a little energy, and it completely changes the escape or the counter. And that happens all the time. And that's how come a lot of people will say, okay, I don't know what you did, do it again. You do it again, you're like, that wasn't the same thing. No, because you moved a little, right? Because we're trained to reflexively counter energy that we perceive as dangerous. And that's why a lot of people that's why sometimes it's tough to get someone that's a good uke, someone that's good to train with or demonstrate or teach with, because they're supposed to complement your teaching, not spar for the position in class. Now when you spar, man, spar, get at it, have fun. But when you're teaching, you can't have people doing that all the time unless you want them to. And so that's just a tip from me, but if you can be a good uke and a good training partner, man, you're gonna be in demand, and everyone on your team, especially you, is gonna get better. So I think, we have one more, or are we up for time? Okay, so again, everyone, Bailey, thank you very much. Okay, every Tuesday at 7 p.m. we're going to do this. We'll put the last 4 episodes on our YouTube channel so you can watch all of them. But please, again, I know that I asked you this twice already, but like it, share it, like our page. That's all we ask during this time. Go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to that, and we're just going to keep sharing information. But most of all, here's the deal, and I mean this very sincerely. Jiu-Jitsu is going to bounce back better and stronger than ever. I feel like we're going to have a slow, gradual increase and then an explosion. And 6 months from now, you're going to be wondering what happened and why the academy is so full. So just keep being hopeful and really trust and know that we're going to open up all the academies. It's just a matter of time. And thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.